What's up, sports fans? Welcome to V SPORTZ INSIDER. So Caleb Sweet Hands Plant is talking a big game about fighting Canelo, ends up signing a fight against a 43 rated fighter in the world in Caleb Truax. We're gonna talk about that mismatch in this video, so stay tuned. So January the 30th, we're getting served another PBC special, another mismatch. Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax is set to headline a PBC on Fox telecast, a fight that nobody wants to see. I've got no idea how anybody thinks that Plant can legitimately call out Canelo, pound for pound the best fighter in the world, and then fight a guy rated number 43 in the super middleweight division. That's really amazing. I don't know where Caleb Plant keeps digging these opponents from. First he fights Mike Lee, a guy that nobody's ever heard of, a guy who's right now rated number 99 in the world at the super middleweight. Then he fights Fagan Butts, a guy that got knocked out by Giovanni De Carolis, a guy that's secondary in Germany to Tyron Soige. Now he's fighting another journeyman, a plain journeyman, because what else could you possibly be if you're rated number 43 in the world? You're either a prospect currently stepping up in the competition, or you've been around for a while. And Caleb Plant is 37 years old, so he damn sure is not a prospect. He damn sure is not a contender, because if you're rated 43, you can be many things, but you can't be a title contender. And you know all that talk from Caleb Plant about Canelo this, Canelo that, and he ends up doing this. Isn't David Benavidez also signed to the PBC? Isn't David Benavidez free in his schedule for a fight January 30th? Of course he is. That's just not how Caleb Plant works. That's just not how PBC works at the super middleweight division. Because they are doing everything in their power to devaluate Canelo Alvarez. They are doing everything in their power to put a blemish on Canelo Alvarez's name in a desperate promotional cutthroat struggle, because they know they don't have the quality, they know it, and they don't want their own fighters, who are both unproven by the way, to fight each other, because then they would have one tool less to act as a supposed boogeyman to Canelo Alvarez. And they know Caleb Plant is an average fighter. They know he's a B-level fighter with no special skills whatsoever, no exceptional speed, no exceptional power, no exceptional ring IQ. So why would they risk a fighter like that, who happens to own an IBF belt, in a fight against another top 10 contender, what he could possibly lose? And speaking of Caleb Plant, he's perfectly fine with it. He's perfectly fine with not fighting anybody that brings any quality to the table. Because why would he risk his belt when that's the only possible ticket to a big payday? Because who is Caleb Plant without a belt? Just another generic fighter that might win or might lose any given fight against any given top 10 contender. So PBC knows it, Caleb Plant knows it, and therefore we're getting served a garbage fight between a B-level title holder and a nothing opponent. And we will still be continued to serve these PBC mismatch specials at the 168 pounds division until one of these guys gets lucky and gets a Canelo fight, takes an L, and then we're gonna be in for a reset and repeat. They're going to dig up another guy, another boogeyman, and so on and so on. And the only problem with Caleb Plant is that he's not a big name, he's not a star, and it might be a while until he warrants a shot at Canelo Alvarez. And in the meantime, it's going to be pretty tough to keep this guy undefeated, because he's just not that good. But you know, in the worst case, you can always count on IBF ratings, notoriously the worst ratings by far of any governing body. So after this we might see Plant versus Zach Parker, maybe Jürgen Bremer. I'll tell you who we're not going to see Caleb Plant with. That's this guy, Adias Yerbasinuli from Kazakhstan, IBF number 7, because he's actually a hot prospect at the moment. So what they're gonna do is avoid anybody that represents any kind of threat. because that's the PBC policy, and that's also Caleb Plant's mentality, the ultimate path of least resistance. But at the end of the day, you might sell garbage once or twice, maybe 3 times even, but you can't do it every single time. And as for Caleb Plant, he can talk all he wants, everything he wants about Canelo, but when the time comes, Canelo fight or not, it's going to be him rated number 43 and being fed to another supposed PBC boogeyman.